This video is more of like a PSA or to help inform some people with some of the issues that these throttle bodies have had. This isn't going to be a really long video because it's 28 degrees out when I got up this morning, and this is actually the last day with the Cobra before it goes to the shop. When this video gets put out, I'm not entirely sure, but this isn't a weather report channel, so I'll get to the main issue that I wanted to talk about. A lot of the issues when upgrading a throttle body or supercharger and the throttle body on the Cobras is a lot, not all of them. There are some companies this isn't a problem with, but some of them do. And the one that came with the VMP Gen 3R kit, this one was a problem for me where the throttle body would stick. And what I mean by that is you would apply the throttle and it would close. It's not the throttle sticking open. It never stuck open on me. But you apply the throttle like really hard, like a wide open pull, and then it would slam shut. And then when you went to get on the throttle again, it was like pressing your foot against a brick wall, and it would take forever to get that throttle blade inside the housing to break loose. And it made for horrible parking lot driving. Every time you're at a light, you have to like rev the engine to get that throttle body to blade to break loose to take off, and you sound like a douchebag that just revs his engine all the time when it's not really the case. I had this throttle body basically is completely rebuilt and a little bit more done to it. This was a problem for a long time. A lot of drivability issues with the Gen 3R when I got it back. Not problems with the Gen 3R, but problems with the throttle body. And it was just made the car not enjoyable to drive. Now, one of the common solutions for this that you'll hear about on the forums or Facebook groups or whatever, as far as how to fix this, and it's not wrong, but I'm saying they're not absolutely 100% correct either. There is a set screw here that you can adjust, and what that set screw does is it will push the throttle blade a little bit more open inside the housing, and it'll keep that from slamming shut and binding like it was. The problem with that though is it doesn't always fix it. I had someone in one of the Facebook groups who does know a lot more about these cars than I do, but some of these people think they know everything, and in fact they don't know everything. Even though they're very knowledgeable, they think they know more than they do sometimes. The issue that has is that it doesn't always fix it. I adjusted the set screw to the point where I wasn't messing up my idle and the blade was open a little bit more, and it did help a little bit, but it didn't completely solve the issue. So I would try that first. If that doesn't solve your issue with adjusting the set screw so it opens it up a little bit more, then go to the steps of what else I have to talk about in the video for how I went about fixing it. So what resolved this was this was completely disassembled at the shop, and they took time to really dig into what was causing this problem. And like I said, some people know this, but a lot of people don't. But the issue is the blade that opens up inside this housing, either the blade's not milled correctly or the housing is not milled correctly. So what was happening, it was when that blade, you step on the throttle, that blade opens up, and then you take your foot off the gas and it slams shut, and then you go to press the throttle again and it sticks and doesn't want to open again. It's sticking on the inside of the housing. So they disassembled this whole throttle body. They did a few other minor things to it, I believe, but the big thing was they milled out the inside of the housing very, very little, just enough so that blade would not stick anymore. And the weird thing is, if I were just to do this, it never stuck. I mean, that's wide open throttle right there. Then it slammed shut, and there was never a problem getting it to open by hand. But when driving it was completely different. But when I had the Cobra at the shop earlier this spring, they went ahead and took care of that, and it drives so much better. So if you're one of these people that does have one of these single blade throttle bodies that's sticking when you apply the throttle, if you are one of those people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's basically what you have to do in order to get that milled out correctly on the inside of the housing for the clearance for the blade and the housing around it so it doesn't stick anymore. I believe LPF, if I'm not saying the company's name right, I'll correct it in the video. I'll put some text there, but I believe it's LPF. They make a single blade throttle body that everyone says is really, really good. and I would recommend them as well. But if you buy one of these as a kit, or an AccuFob is another one that I've heard that's had issues. I don't know if VMP has AccuFob make theirs for them or not. I'm not positive all the dynamics involved with all of that. But I just know that mine was sticking and now it's absolutely flawless. So if you do have a sticking one, you don't want to go through having to rebuy a new one, install the current one, and you just want to get it fixed, I would find a competent place that can take this off and take a look at it on the inside and see how much needs to be milled out of it and correct it that way. So more of just an FYI PSA type video. So let me know if your Cobra has a sticking throttle body or not, what you did to resolve it, or is it still a problem? And it's been amazing since I've had it done. No drivability issues at all with it anymore. But I'm getting really cold and I have to load a bunch of parts in the car because it's going to the shop today for its winter modifications. So if you enjoyed the video, leave it a like, and if you're new here, subscribe because it does help the channel out quite a bit to help the channel grow more. And above all else, thanks for watching.